wanted to introduce you guys to Carolyn. Carolyn, we got a microphone here for you.
Put it right here.
And I wanted to start off just by asking you some questions of like, how did you come up with this? Because we're going to hear about your organization, but I just want to know about you. Just tell them a little bit about you and how did this all happen? Where did you come from?
Under a rock. So I was an interior designer in the Bay Area for about 25 years. And I was, for the past 10 years, I was doing work with foster kids and I was doing respite care for foster families. And you may not know this, foster families can't just give their foster child to any babysitter. So if you would like to put your foster child into a babysitter's care for more than 23 hours, they have to be vetted by the FBI and TB tested and blah, 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 blah. So I did all of those things and was able to take foster kids in for a couple hours to a couple weeks, even a couple months if necessary. So we had 4 teenagers and we were taking in foster kids, and you would not believe what a screaming baby will do for birth control for your 3 teenage girls. Amazing. So no pregnancies in our house. When I was doing that, I found out that foster kids don't get anything when they age out. So here's your Section 8 voucher, and here's your, maybe, not necessarily, and here's your apartment, maybe, not necessarily, no bed, no dresser, no sofa, no anything. So now I'm on the other side where I'm doing interior design and, oh, I don't want this sofa anymore. I'd like a new one. And I don't want this coffee table anymore. I'd like a new one. And there's nowhere to put that stuff. Maybe Facebook Marketplace. But so I've got all this furniture that's going to waste, and I've got all these kids that need furniture. So we just sort of put 2 and 2 together. And I was working with a social worker and starting to place the furniture. And also, it was helping a lot of foster families say yes to kids because the home office that they had needed to be turned into a bedroom for 2 kids, and we could get the furniture to make that happen. So then the garage was full of furniture, and that was upsetting my husband. And then the client, there was a weekend where the straw that broke the camel's back was the weekend where I had Eleanor over the weekend, who was 2.5, who had been removed from a car. Her mom was not in the car at the time. She was only wearing a diaper. She was in our care because the foster family had to go out of state. She had been taken in emergency foster care situation. She screamed bloody murder all weekend for her mom, rightfully so, because she missed her. And then I walk into a meeting on Monday morning and the client's screaming bloody murder about their coffee table that's late. And it's like, really? I had run out of empathy for my clients. And that was when I quit. I didn't quit in that exact moment. I had to roll off a few projects, but I started a furniture bank.
So your empathy for the community kind of helped you change your career path, which is pretty amazing.
Yes.
And the thing that you called about aging out, so emancipated youth.
Correct.
These are kids that are they're in foster care. At 18, the state stops paying the family, right?
The state stops paying the family. The state has changed the laws in the last few years. I can't remember the name of the bill, but now foster kids do get benefits if they are doing if they're working or going to school, they get benefits until there's a specific set of benefits until they're 21 and another specific set of benefits until they're 24. So it is better in the state of California. And then last year, there was another law passed that tuition is free for foster kids.
No, that's very cool. I don't know if we knew that part.
Yeah.
So we got emancipated youth. You took care of a number of families, started to take care of a growing number of families in the Bay Area. And obviously you outgrew your garage and you're going to tell us kind of about your place, but um, like give us an idea of how big your space is today and like the size of this room, would it be how in comparison?
Bigger. So we have 11,000 square feet over in San Rafael. We have, so the Northgate Mall in Terra Linda is basically one of those dying malls. So the old Gap is the 11,000 square feet. We also took over the old Applebee's and the old Foot Locker. And there's another space. I don't know what it was. We've got like 20,000 square feet over there, and we've got another 25,000 square feet in a warehouse in Union City. So we have a lot
Wow.
of space.
And you're saving stuff that is historically going to landfill.
Correct.
So there's a double win here, right? That's
Mhm.
you're collecting things, you're reorganizing it, and then you're making it appropriate for individuals
Right.
based on their interest level and their need. That's amazing, and you're keeping it out of the landfill.
Yes.
So I wanted to kind of get the backstory. Thank you for sharing this. I'm going to let you tell the story of your organization and run through those.
Okay.
And we're going to save our questions more towards the second half for presentation, but we will. I'm sure there are going to be a handful of questions for you that hopefully we
Okay.
can get those answered.
Yep.
Carolyn, it's all yours. You got the remote.
Okay. I was expecting this to be a back and forth conversation. So nope. Since I'm on my own, I'm going to totally do this. Great. Jump on in anytime. I know I'm supposed to be speaking and then you're going to ask questions, but we'll do this however you want. Okay, so I founded Make It Home 4.5 years ago. And we help families and individuals transitioning out of crisis. So we're solving two problems at the same time. We are giving furnishings and household goods to people in need, and we are saving items from landfill. So solving one problem with the other. And we are working to end furniture poverty while protecting the environment. Furniture poverty is something, it's probably a term you've never heard. It's one of those very quiet problems that lives behind doors. For those of you who have kids, so Blair is invited over to a play date at your house and he turns it down because he doesn't want to have to reciprocate because he doesn't have any furniture at his house and he doesn't want your son, Johnny, to know that and to know for the class to know that he doesn't actually have any furniture and his family is suffering from this problem. So it leaks in a lot of ways. He also doesn't have a bed to sleep in. He's sleeping on the floor. And he doesn't have enough light in the wintertime to do his homework by because there's no lamps. There's no sofa for the family to sit on. There's no kitchen table for them to eat at. There's no desk for him to do his homework at. This is causing his parents aren't sleeping in a bed. I don't know, for those of you who enjoy sleeping on the floor, I do not enjoy sleeping on the floor. I do not camp because I don't like it. Now that makes me sound like a princess, but for those of us who get to sleep in a bed every night, we may not realize that there are so many people out there who don't have that luxury, that we don't see that. Homelessness, it's obvious that these people do not have a bed, but furniture poverty is a problem that is very quiet that we're trying to solve. I already told you about my background. So when you have all of your clothes in garbage bags and then you get to put them in dressers, that's a stepping stone. When you get to do your homework at a desk, that's a stepping stone. It's not just a piece of furniture. It's hopes and dreams and comfort, and it's a springboard. So that's the way we look. That's the way we look at furniture. It's not just practical. It's gives you, it's the way they say, it's not a out. It's a hand up. That's what we're trying to do. We're a wasteful people. You all know that. Over 12 million tons of furniture went to landfill in the United States in 2018. That's the most recent statistic, but we haven't slowed down, and fast furniture is a mess. That's a lot of furniture. If we do the math, I already did it for you, you're welcome. If we take the population in the Bay Area, we take our portion of all that furniture, we take our people living in poverty, and we furnish their homes, we can furnish everybody. So we take the population living under the poverty level, living on the poverty line, whatever the phrase is, I can't remember. 13% of the population is living at that level or under. We're going to furnish all of their places in a year and a half, and then we can start over. So that's a lot of waste. That's just us. We in the Bay Area bubble that are so conscientious, we're wasting that much furniture. So we've got to stop doing that. And we've got all these people living in poverty. We see this on the side of, we see this on the streets downtown. We see this all over the place. 52% of our referrals are because of homelessness. So from homeless to home. One of the biggest problems we have is we're not serving enough people because the vouchers are not getting out. And it's not because there aren't the vouchers, it's because there aren't enough people in the administrative offices to take care of the vouchers. So that's one of the problems that are causing homelessness to continue. So these offices, that's one of the things that we need to change, is that these people in the HUD offices, there needs to be more people administrating in the housing authority offices, and they're not. It adds up to more than 100 because lots of times there's more than one reason why people are being referred. We're also serving a lot of refugees. The Bay Area is a haven for a lot of people from a lot of different countries, and we're taking care of those people as well. So this is one of the last pieces of the puzzle in our housing problem. HUD doesn't even, furniture isn't even a part of the conversation, but if I give you an empty apartment and I don't give you any furniture, you're less likely to stay in that apartment. There was a study done in Ohio. Families that left a shelter and were not given any furniture, 20% of those families were back on the streets within a year. But when they were given furniture, only 5% of those families were back on the streets within a year. So furniture makes a difference in the rate of homelessness, and yet it is absolutely not a part of the conversation. I have had social workers call me and say, yeah, we don't even have a budget for furniture. Okay, so when you put that person in that place, you didn't consider a bed. Do you sleep on a bed? Hello? Like, it's just this. I would like to go to whoever, I don't remember who's in charge of HUD right now, but I would like to, my dream, when I retire from this, I'm going to go to Washington. I'm going to go to their house, take their bed and their desk in their office and say, I'll be back in a month, and then we'll talk about how important or not important furniture is after you've worked on the floor and slept on the floor. And then you can tell me how furniture doesn't matter. Dinglings. Okay, so we're solving two problems at one time. We already talked about that. And we're balancing supply and demand. We're actually solving it twice. So if I give you used furniture, then you don't have to buy new furniture. So I've saved it twice. Once again, you're welcome. We do not have a wait list. There's so much furniture available to us that we've filled 40,000 square feet of warehouse space, and we could keep going. We vet everything that we take. So we're turning stuff away. We don't help just foster kids, we help everyone. And we turn things around in about 7 days. That's our average. And the reason it takes 7 days is because I've got to coordinate with the social worker and the movers and da. It's not that the volunteers will put together the setup in an hour or two. That's not where the logjam is. The logjam is with the logistics. So we can do it really quickly. This is the warehouse in San Rafael. It's kind of a disaster, but it's an organized disaster. These are some kids who are waiting for Ricardo to deliver their furniture. So we get the donations from people like you, hotel, for example, the Donatello downtown, they're redoing their hotel. They're going to give us 96 of everything: desks, credenzas, tables, chairs. And we are going to, thank goodness, deliver it all to the Union City warehouse and use it all. We work with social service agencies. They're bringing us the clients. That's the only barrier to entry. I don't have any other. If the social worker or the case manager says somebody needs furniture, great, they need furniture. We don't have any other rules. And then we have a team of volunteers. I have a bunch of designers and stagers, and also people who just love to put furniture sets together. And that's all they want to do. They want to unpack those boxes. They act like it's Christmas, and to put it all away and organize it. A lot of OCD running around in a good way in the warehouse, and a lot of people who just live to decorate and put together those princess pony purple 6-year-old girl wish list sets. And then we deliver it. We do not allow clients to pick up their own furniture because moving is one of the most stressful things you can do. And I'm sorry, but grants can pay for your furniture to be professionally moved in so nobody gets hurt. I just think that's reasonable and fair. And then there you go. You have a bed to sleep on at night and a table to sit at. We always deliver the absolute essentials. We may not always give you a blender if you request it, but we will always give you a sofa and a bed and a kitchen table and chairs. There's a list of essentials that we will always provide. We will always, always, always have a bed available for you. We keep them on hand at all times. That's one of the reasons we have to raise money, because we purchased recycled mattresses that have been refurbished, and they're all fabulous and clean and safe down from a company in LA, but we always have them on hand, because if you don't have a bed, there's really no point in me even existing if I can't provide you a bed. These are some of our community partners. We're working with about 150 social agencies across the Bay Area. We are serving 9 counties on a regular day and probably 12 counties on a busy day. We're going all the way up to Mendocino. We're going over to Turlock, Sacramento, and now probably LA. A lot in LA is going to be needed. So, feel good stories. That's an actual living room that we furnished. All that stuff's donated by interior designers, because I know a bunch of them. I make them donate all their clients' cast soft. I mean, I literally make them. Randall and Cassie. This is one of my favorite stories. I might tear up because it's a good one. Cassie's mom passed away suddenly, and she had full custody of Cassie. Randall was living with some friends, so Cassie could not move in with Randall immediately, so she was put into foster care. CFS told Randall that he had to have his own place, Randall did get his own place, but he didn't have any furniture. CFS tells you have to have a bed, can't be a mattress on the floor. You have to have furniture to have your kid back. So he called us. Usually the social worker does, but he was clever enough, figured it all out, gave us a call, found us. And this was really, really early in the game. Not a lot of people knew about us. He said, I need furniture to get my daughter back. He called us on Friday. I said to the social worker, I need to make sure this is legit, because if we're going to jump through all these hoops, I don't want there to be some other reason why he can't get Cassie back. Nope, that's the only reason we can't place Cassie with her father, is because he has no furniture. Okay, so put all the furniture together on Monday, delivered it on Tuesday, and he had Cassie back on Tuesday night. Furniture should not keep families apart. When we have a homeless family moving into a new place, they can have 6 kids and it doesn't matter what furniture they have. But we keep families apart based on the furniture they have, and I find that to be demoralizing and unfair. So families are always, that's the only time, if I have a long stack of people, I put families at the top of the queue, because, and it's not always, it's never a very long queue, but kids should never have to suffer because of a lack of furniture. So Hannah Center, used to be Hannah School for Boys, is now taking in a lot of displaced youth, and we've furnished over 70 units up there, so that's fantastic. An Alameda recovery house for trans people recovering from surgery. We've furnished 15 bedrooms. We did a group foster home in Contra Costa. We also did, there's an unaccompanied, it used to be St. Vincent School for Boys in Marin, and it's now a home for unaccompanied minor boys. And that was, I think there's 60 kids up there, and that's full. And we refurnished all of that, redid everything. And then we're serving a ton of refugees through the International Rescue Committee, which there was a huge flurry right before the holidays because they're afraid that the borders are going to get completely shut down. And that's slowed down a little bit. I don't know what's going to happen with that in the next few weeks. Those numbers are a little low. We are now over, I think we're over 6,000 people now. It's hard to keep up. We serve 70 households a month, and last year we served 812 households over the year, which was a new record. When I started, I thought I was going to be really amazing if I did 120 households a year. I was like, well, that'll be good. And the first year we did over 400. So I've been a little slammed the last 4 years. These are some actual rooms that we've done. That's our dog in the warehouse in a setup. She greets everybody, whether you like dogs or not. She's also in everybody's business, making sure they're doing things right. So we opened with a pop-up space in San Francisco. Then we moved to 11,000 square feet. Then we added a second location in the East Bay. Then we got a grant for $1 million for a new facility, which everybody cross your fingers right now. Hold them up. Thank you. We are in contract, and hopefully at the end of this month, we will be in escrow for our permanent space because they are going to bulldoze the mall and just let the deal go through. So another 11,000, much cleaner, much better space that will be all ours it's about 4 miles north of where we are in Novato. But we're gonna have to stop being hoarders because we won't have the other spaces at the mall. My COO doesn't like to hear that. Stop hoarding furniture. So we're going to have to move faster and move it through faster. So see, I should have updated that slide. We are actively purchasing our forever home. We annually spend about $12,000 on cleaning supplies. I can't seem to really let that go. I started during COVID, so we give everybody a bucket of new cleaning supplies because it feels like it's important. We spend over $200,000 a year on mattresses and bed frames and bedding. And we give people kitchen essentials because I don't always have a constant stream of pots and pans. And it's super hard to cook something if you don't have a pot or a pan or a kitchen knife or a cutting board, blah, blah, blah. So we keep a consistent inventory of those items. The other thing that we do, OC, and we beat our, I sent you this before 2024 was over, and look, we win. One of the things we do is we refinish and we refurbish. So we have a team of volunteers who love to repaint and sand. And we've also started a reupholstery training program because reupholstery in the United States is kind of a dying art. So we're going to teach a bunch of underserved population how to do it and make a living at it and save a bunch more furniture. So I don't know if you all know who Schumacher is. It's a big fabric house, and we just entered into a partnership with them, and they're going to give us all of their extra fabric, which is all super fancy and fabulous and net $150 a yard. So that's exciting. We'll make more pretty furniture for our clients and maybe sell some to raise money for all those mattresses. Sleeping in makes it home. Family meal makes it home. Calling top bunk makes it home. And this last picture is we did a visitation room at the county jail because before we did the visitation room, you're 4 years old and you're visiting your mom or dad in jail, and you were literally sitting in that seat with the plastic barrier and the phone. And finally, somebody in jail realized that was dumb, and we got to furnish a room with a carpet on the floor and toys and books and soft bean bags, and that's how that works. So,
Carolyn, that's amazing. Thank you for all you do.
sure.
So I have burning questions because I want to know, how do you move it from a hotel in San Francisco to Union Square? How does 90 plus
We make them
rooms-
bring it to us.
So you make that part of the acceptance, they ship it to you.
So your used furniture is your responsibility until you get it to its next life, next place. The second you decide you don't want it anymore, it's still your response. It doesn't stop being your responsibility when you decide you don't want it anymore. It's your responsibility until it goes to its next place.
So I love that, the fact that, so if you have donated furniture and you want to ship it out, you get it to your location, one of the locations, you give us a destination to get it there.
Yes.
And then you assess it and decide which way it's going to go, right?
I've assessed it. I make you send me pictures of it first. I'm very mean. I make you send me pictures of it. I don't accept everything. If I can fix it, I'll take it. But if you are sending me a sofa that has if you live in a house with 10 cats, I'm not taking your furniture because
You shouldn't live in the house with 10 cats. Sorry. But
if you are trying to send me a sofa and it's 3 colors because it was sitting in the sun, and then you turned it around and it was sitting in the sun. If I've got a long queue of upholstered items that need reupholstery and I don't have the room nor the fabric to reupholster it, I can't take it.
so this needs to speak well into the person getting it. It needs to be a gift to them, and it needs to be recoverable and usable, and not. And
We're not just
apologize.
we're not just giving furniture. We're also giving respect and dignity, and we're not Goodwill. which is why our address isn't publicly published. So you can't dump stuff.
So do you keep a running record
No.
of, okay, so everything is eyeballed, you look at it, you know what you have in the back of your head, or someone can match it as best they can to the need.
Yes.
Okay, got it.
They are constantly running around. Oh, it's like a treasure hunt every day.
Excellent.
I know it's there because I have that. That's one of my abilities, is to just know what's in the warehouse. But
It's nice. So questions?
yes. Yes, sir.
I have a ton of questions. I'll try to limit it to one because she's going to take the microwave afterwards. Okay, so I love your epiphany moment where, you know, you'd been caring for this foster care child who was crying, and then your client was crying over furniture, and you're like, you know, what's more important?
Mm-hmm.
So it sounds like you have a network from your previous life of interior designers,
Mm-hmm.
and you've inspired them. And now they tell all their clients when they're initially meeting with them, here's what we're going to do with your furniture, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you're actually solving a problem because they have to get rid of it someplace.
Yes.
And it's probably the same price to get rid of it to you as to get it to the dump, right?
It's cheaper because we don't charge them and the dump does.
Okay, so you're solving multiple problems. Okay, you
Mhm.
can add that to your deck. Even another problem you're solving. I have a question though. Have you gotten any feedback from your interior designers who from the get-go can show this and tell this story to this, you know, posh group of people, a family that is stressing out over, you know, the right color of yellow for their house, over their furniture, and put it in perspective that they get to see a picture like this and to realize what they think of as junk is not just remodeling their home. They're part of this process. They're part of this community. So that's another problem you're solving. You're adding value to these interior decorators that you're working with.
We're trying. Posh.
Okay, so you
There's
haven't.
posh and sensitive, and there's posh and not.
Okay, so you haven't. You have the interior designers give it to you, but you haven't yet succeeded in them seeing the value and telling those stories to the people that are giving it to them.
They're working on it. There are a lot of designers that are, so this is what we're going to do with your furniture and this is why. But their clients, some clients care and some clients don't. So
Okay.
there's only so far.
Yeah. It's just another part of the storytelling. And
Yeah.
I assume your network of interior designers is constantly growing through referrals, right?
Let's hope so. Yes, it is. Yes.
Okay. Well, I know Terry Hudson, and I'd love to put you in touch with her.
Okay.
She would love this.
Okay.
She's in LA, so maybe
If
you guys
everybody
can
could
expand LA.
follow Make It Home Bay Area on Instagram right now. That is actually our main
Communication thread.
communication thingy. And it's kind of, it sounds trite, but that's the audience that's listening to us.
So I love what you're doing. Are there other people in other cities doing similar things? Are you networked with other folks? Are you aware of other people doing this?
There are only 9 furniture banks on the West Coast. There are a lot of furniture banks east of the Mississippi, but there is the Bay Area Furniture Bank in Santa Clara, and they are serving Santa Clara and a little bit in San Mateo, a little bit in southern Alameda, but they are focused on Santa Clara.
Yeah, in their region.
Yep. There's 2 furniture banks in Oregon, 3 in Oregon. And then so maybe I'm counting wrong now. There's 2 in Washington, and we all know each other. No, but there is a very good chance that, so you would not believe so the warehouse that we had in Union City, we were supposed to lose it at the end of February. And Because of the fires, we've gotten an extension on that for another 6 months. And there's a warehouse in Los Angeles that a designer has of 70,000 square feet. I do think that there will be a furniture bank that comes out of the fires because it just can't not. But that has been one of the problems, is that there isn't one in Southern California. It doesn't make any sense. Any other questions?
Yes, a great story. And I think I might have seen you on the news. One of them was covered. Yeah, it was a great story. They weren't able to show enough of what you do. So I'm really pleased to see more of that today.
Thank you.
And I think you could have your own HGTV show, competition, having people put together how these rooms. It's fascinating, and I could see how beautiful places feed the soul. And when people are coming out of brokenness, you're giving them a place of sanctuary that's lovely. And that really does help them feel gladness and peace. And so it's such a worthy thing. I just had a question, because I think of places like the San Francisco Marin County Food Bank. And every time something's located in Marin County, I'm thinking, they're already really well off over there. What are they doing based up in Marin County? And so my question is, how do you determine where your warehouses are going to be? Is it due to who's bringing it to you, or to make it convenient for them?
So the first part is that I live in Marin, and that was before we started the furniture bank. And I've spent the last 25 years sometimes doing all 3 bridges, and was like, I'm not driving anymore. The advantage of us being in Marin is that the furniture that we are getting from Marin and San Francisco, I can't get warehouse space in San Francisco. It's ridiculous. But I got donated, the mall is donated, so it's free. So that was amazing. And the furniture that we get from San Francisco and Marin is, you would not believe what we're getting. We're getting McGuire, we're getting Knoll, we're getting insane, beautiful stuff. And there is a lot of it that's like, yes, we could sell it, but we're moving too fast. Give it away. Now, if my clients take it and sell it, more power to them. Because if they have the time and the wherewithal to do that, and they recognize what they have, or if they're sitting on a Knoll sofa and they're happy, great. But we're getting beautiful, insane stuff, and we're living in a microcosm of the United States where we're getting that. So that was sort of serendipitous. And Jared Huffman is our congressman, and he scored me $1 million for a building. So, yay.
See, thank you.
Any other questions? Yes, we have. You mentioned mattress recycling. So do you know how we get the mattresses to the recycling place to begin with?
So when you take so there's a couple of mattress recyclers. There's one, I think it's the Mattress Guy in the East Bay, the California Conservation Corps so California is, we could talk for hours about mattress recycling, because it's kind of a scam in California, and Bye Bye Mattress is supported by, that's the California Mattress Recycling site, and it's sponsored by the Mattress Council and la 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 la. It's the mattresses that get sent to recycling centers. There's a company called Gateway Mattress in Montebello, California, and they purchase, and they get a government stipend for each one they buy, but they buy used mattresses, and they take them apart. They take the covers off of them. They repair what needs to be repaired. They recover them with new covers. They cook them to whatever degrees they need. I can't remember the exact number. anymore. They cook them and then they cover them in plastic and they're given a sticker that says they're recycled. But you would, I mean, I have them in I bought one for my guest room. They're perfectly fine. And that goes along with our mission. I can't buy new mattresses. Like it just goes against what we're doing. So took a long, long time to find that resource. Another way that we recycle mattresses is, for example, Stanford University gave us 300 twins. Those things are covered in bulletproof, fireproof covers. So yes, they were used by students for a long time, but they were literally fireproof. So they weren't dirty. So we used those for a year and that saved us $1 bajillion. But so there are places where you can take your masters to be recycled. But that whole thing is a mess. It's worse than tires.
Jeffrey?
You mentioned the upholstery that you guys are working on.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, have you thought, is there a business or have you thought about turning that into a business? I mean, I'd be happy to bring my stuff there to get redone. And I feel like there's not many.
So we are, so I'm here talking to you when I really should be writing up that business proposal. We are applying for grants. So that's part of our social enterprise blah, blah, blah. But yes, we will be launching a shop to reupholster clients, clients, not my clients that I'm furnishing. So bringing in items and being able to do items for the public that will be trained so that because to get your journeyman's status as an upholsterer, you have to have 5,000 hours. So we have a whole training program that you do this, then you do this, then you do this. We have hired a former foster youth, former incarcerated person who is our upholstery instructor / upholsterer, who is a journeyman upholsterer, who will be helping us launch that program. So yes, short answer, long answer first, sorry.
Hi, Carolyn. My name's John, and
John.
I love your work. And I'm hopeful, just hearing about the work that you do, that there's a lot of channel partners and other partners that can collaborate to have a collective impact on this, like even do a roundtable.
Yes.
And so
Are we going to do that after?
I love roundtable gatherings, and I help lead a virtual one that we'd love to have you come speak at. So that's one thing. And just working with charitable warehouses. So if there's anything that you have in your programmatic support where you could envision that there's channels between where your current operations are to the community, then that would be really cool if there's trucks already provided. But can you tell me a little bit about the infrastructure or the logistics for how you manage the process of like delivery for some of the items and coordination of drivers and things like that, like some of like the partnerships level things that other nonprofits could say, oh, okay, this is what they have or this is what they would need on their wish list. Does that make sense? Like what you want for your wish list for coordinating logistics?
Sounds like a very high level conversation for a very low level operation.
Okay.
So we have, I'll tell you in practical terms what we have, and then we have a Sprinter van and a box truck, both of which were donated to us last year. And we have 2 drivers full-time. We got grants from Prologis and Link Logistics to support the onboarding and first year of operations for that launch. And those guys are probably helping us with about half of our move-ins. They're not actually, because we're doing about 16 deliveries a week. They actually can't do that many. The most they can really handle in a day is 3, and that's really pushing it. So we also have outside teams that we've been using since we started that are supplementing those deliveries. The reason we implemented the program was because we realized we were leaving money on the table, and this enables us to act in a quicker manner. It also enables us to say when Pottery Barn, for example, says we would like to donate 7 Gaylords of bedding, which are those giant cartons, we can send a truck over and pick it all up because we're out of bedding. Or somebody lists in San Rafael on Facebook Marketplace, I have a free sofa. Yes, please. And we can drive over the van and load it up and take it because we're out of sofas. So that's what we're doing. We also want to implement pickups for a fee and deliveries for a fee of items that people can purchase because we have a shop, have the ability for people to shop in the warehouse because not everything we have is suitable for clients. Does that answer your question? Okay.
Are you familiar with Care
So we
Portal?
we work with Care Portal. We worked with Care Portal in the past. We actually haven't heard from Care Portal in a while. I'm not sure why. But they're volunteer based. So when they use us, typically it's a faith-based organization that we're working with, and volunteers will come with vans or trucks. So whenever we're working with a client, we will do the delivery. We charge a fee for that. But if the organization has volunteers or their own transportation services or wants to hire their own movers, they're more than welcome to do that. You don't have to use our movers because if you don't want to, that's great for us, more time for us.
So
Does that make sense? Okay.
So I have a question about partnerships.
Yes.
So there's a group down in the East Bay, South Bay. They're called Missing Man Services. And what they do is for widows or for people who lose their family structure, they'll allow for construction workers or for folks that have a trade or a skill set to stop off on the way home, and they give them an hour's worth of work. Do you have any partnerships with like trucking or transportation groups that will allow people to donate their time or donate an hour or a single delivery for your group? Do you guys have those partnerships?
We have a couple of partnerships with trucking services. So for example, Beacon AMS gives us one truckload of delivery, like a giant truckload of delivery a month for free. That's their partnership with us. We need more of that because Union City is far away and has a lot of stuff in it. But that kind of thing we do have.
Yeah, I just had a question. You mentioned this earlier that you guys have a shop, and I saw on the Instagram it's something you guys promote. Can you just talk about that? And is this something I should be telling my friends when they're trying to furnish their
So
apartments?
if you say shop at makeithomebayarea.org, we do shopping by appointment right now because the warehouse is really kind of weird and not really set up for shopping unless you have somebody walking you through it. The new space will have designated shopping space. February 7th will be a warehouse sale that is open to the public, and that will be posted all over Instagram, which is why you should all be following on Instagram if you didn't do that yet. February 7th, Friday, 10 to 5. Yes, sir.
Thank you so much for letting me have a second question. I have a question about partnerships. You mentioned that you always need furnishings for the kitchen and you put money towards that. Have you looked into partnerships like with Costco? Or I know Costco gets tons of returns and donates the majority of those returns.
Costco. won't
Costco.
partner with us.
Hey, talk to Paul afterwards.
Hey, Paul.
They'll
Paul.
partner with him and they can secretly give.
Great. Paul, if you have extra kitchen stuff, we'd be happy to take it off your hands.
We need someone to organize it, but there's kitchen
We
stuff
have
floating around.
organizers.
That would be
We
great.
have a bunch of crazy ladies who love to do that.
Hey, and then IKEA might not partner with you either, but
No,
maybe we
IKEA
can
won't.
get them too.
IKEA won't talk to us either.
Oh, well,
There you
We'll
go.
make sure that we.
This is
work
why
it
we
out.
have you. We hired us up.
Okay.
The power of collaboration.
Exactly. Thank you so much, Carolyn, for this
course.
incredible work.
Thank you.